Hey guys, you want a story? I'll give you a story and Ninja Story. Welcome back to the Ninja Story. And today it is Halloween. So first off, I want to say happy Halloween to everyone watching this right now. Hopefully all of you guys stay safe on this day. Hopefully nothing goes wrong on your parts, and I hope all of you stay safe once again. So, what are we doing today? Well, I alluded to this in a previous video, and that was the Halloween video that I did, the QMMR that I did. I alluded that I wanted to do separate videos for all of these, but I just didn't have the time to. So I am making a top 5 favorite horror movies of all time. Now, I'm a big horror fan, so most likely these are going to change a long time or across the years want to see more and more horror movies. But for right now, these are my top 5. Now, before we get started with this, I'm sorry for the pause, by the way. There's going to be a lot of pauses. But I just want to say a few things. Um, One, the Victorious video that I said I was doing, it might come out around the end of November. So I'm not entirely sure when it's going to come out. I think it's going to be around November time. Also, I want to just shout out another channel because I've been doing that recently, and that is going to be Cargo. Now, I haven't been on Cargo hasn't been on my channel, but I've been in a few collabs with him on other people's channels, most notably Rashawn SPSP or just Rashawn now. And I'm going to be on a video on his channel, I believe is going up on, where we're doing SpongeBob Season 2, because I did SpongeBob Season 1, top 10 episodes on Rashawn's channel, and now we're going to do it on Cargo's channel. So I just wanted to shout him out. He's really well spoken. He's great at script writing. Um, all the scripts that he writes are really well spoken and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys like reviews and stuff like that, I would really recommend his channel. Now, let's get into the top 5. Now, once again, these are going to change over time. These are not final, but as of, I guess, 2020, these are my top 5. So, number 5. Now, if you guys watched and I'm just gonna say this right now. All the movies are A plus. All the movies are A plus on here, and I want to do individual reviews for each one, but I just didn't want to. I don't know. I just didn't have the. I guess I just didn't have the. I don't know what to call it, but I just didn't have that feeling of doing individual reviews right now. I will at some point, but not right now. So if you guys watched the previous Halloween video, you would know that the number 6 and the number 5, which number 6 it follows, that movie and my number 5 could basically be switched. I mean, both are so incredible, and literally every day I'm swapping them. But since I included It Follows on that one, I'm going to include my number 5 on this one, and number 5 is going to be A Quiet Place. Now, fun fact, I actually talked about A Quiet Place, I believe on QMR number 1, I think I did, and it was it blew me away the first time I watched it. Um, it's just it's so different from what we get nowadays because that was like a big blockbuster that came out in theaters and it was a big, big, big deal. Um, I just love everything about the movie. The performances are great. The horror or the suspense in it is amped up thanks to that there's really not any dialogue in the movie. It really focuses on the soundtrack, body language, sign language, suspense, and all that kind of stuff, facial expressions, emotion. And when there is dialogue, sometimes it feels out of place, but that's how you know you're intrigued when you're like, that feels kind of weird that they're talking now. That means that you're more intrigued, and it's just a more unique film in that way because we're used to films with dialogue and just very long, drawn out exposition and all that kind of stuff. And A Quiet Place is really against that, and that's what I love about it. It's so well done. It's so well shot. Its cinematography is fantastic. The lighting, Just everything is great. The sets are fantastic. Again, the performances, Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, both of them are incredible in the movie. The children in the movie are fantastic as well. I believe, um, I believe Evelyn in the movie. I believe she's legitimately deaf in real life, so it just kind of adds more realism to the movie. So I want to do an individual review of this movie one day because I've talked about it on here and I've talked about it on QMMR. Just fantastic movie, without a doubt. So now we're gonna get into some of my absolute favorites. So number 4. I've never talked about this movie on my channel, and I'm actually kind of sad at that. Number 4 is Get Out. So this was one of the more popular movies. Again, this is kind of a recent one, 2017, from Jordan Peele, which is insane that he was able to come up with this movie because he's more of a comedian, and then he came out with this, and it really shocked the world. Um, it's just a fantastic movie, and it has the horror elements. It has social commentary, which I know a lot of people have talked about it, but it's still an issue today, especially in 2020. And it's so real, but at the same time has that over the top, or not over the top, but fantasy elements or something like that of a true horror movie. And it's perfect. I mean, it has the psychology, it has the twisted moments, it has the slow build, it has the creepy, unsettling shots and scenes. The sound design is amazing. The performances from everyone in the movie is phenomenal. I mean, there really isn't a show stealer because everyone is stealing the show. I just love, 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 love this movie. It's a different take on this type of movie, and I praise it all the way. Fantastic movie. Easily one of my absolute favorites. And it's going to come in at number 4. I could have made this a video. I'm rushing through this, but whatever. I'm probably going to talk for a while about my number 1. So we'll see. Number 3, I've talked about this all the time on Instagram. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you've heard me talk about this movie for sure. And maybe even some podcasts on other people's channels or just videos on other people's channels. Number 3 is Hush. I love this movie. So this is a Netflix film, which is kind of weird that one of the best horror movies, in my opinion, is from Netflix, which has The Babysitter and Bird Box. And even though I like those movies, I'm not saying they're bad movies. They're just like, the average horror movie. This one is fantastic. It's so, so good. Now, this is kind of similar to A Quiet Place in the way that there's not a lot of dialogue in the movie. It really just builds on the suspense. But the reason why I like it more about from A Quiet Place is that in the movie, our main character Maddie is deaf and mute. So you really not going to get a lot from her. She's not going to get a lot from you. And it works so, so well because the sound design is perfection. It switches perspectives on what Maddie hears and then what we hear usually. So, for example, in the opening scene, when you're cooking in the kitchen and you hear, meat sizzling and you hear just the knives hitting or whatever, you're just chopping up carrots or vegetables, you're running the water or whatever. Maddie doesn't hear anything, and it's so well done. Um, and it just plays with that type of thing a lot. For example, alarms go off and she can't hear them or see them. Well, she can see them, but she's not looking in that direction. She's not going to see. Her house could catch fire and she would never know. It's insane. Um, and it's also a home invasion film, so it feels very claustrophobic. It feels like it's just she's eliminated from the outside world. She has no help So it's just hit her and the man, which is the villain in the movie. Actually, that's his name, the man. Um, which is just, it's cool that we didn't get like, oh, here's the next like Bruce Stanley or something like that. I just came up with a name at the very last second. It's like, no, his name is just the man. He's not getting a fancy name. He's just out here to kill you. And I just love that. The suspense is great. Stunt work is really good. I mean, there is some um, insane fight choreo and just choreography in general. Just really well done. Everything about this movie works so well, in my opinion. It's super suspenseful. The acting is amazing. Just everything. Everything works. It's one of my absolute favorite movies. Number two, um, so this one is kind of different from a lot of the other films on this list. For one, it's a foreign language movie. For two, it's a completely different genre of horror, but it is phenomenal. Number two is Wreck. Now, um, it's funny that I'm doing this now because, again, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, follow me. Um, but I did a lot of top tens throughout 2020, or I still am actually. So I did like this top 30 horror movies, which is archived now, but I've done like top 10 songs of each year, top 10 movies of each year, Disney movies, animated movies, Marvel movies, like underrated songs, songs that I didn't include in the top tens or whatever. And when I was doing the songs first off, I stopped around 1997, I'm gonna say, I think. Or 1998, I think I think 1998 was the last year that I did. And I want to continue it. I am gonna continue it. And then for movies, the last one that I did was 2008, and I was about to 2007, but I was like, I kind of want to get somebody to 2007 because I feel like I'm going to be very, very biased. Um, reason why is because this movie would have been number one easily. This film is incredible. So this is a found footage movie. For some of you that aren't well versed in horror or cinema or stuff like that, found footage is pretty much a movie that's pretending that it's like unseen footage of something. So, for example, the Blair Witch Project, that's a found footage movie. It's somebody in the movie becoming the cameraman, and you're seeing pretty much first person. That's really what found footage is. It's like a first person kind of view in the movie from a character in the movie. Um, so this film is one of those. I think this takes place in Mexico. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I think it's in Mexico, and I don't really. I'm not even going to pay attention to the location. And it follows a actual. One of the coolest things about this movie is that so really the main plot line of this movie is that, which is actually kind of funny considering 2020, is that there is a news reporter who is an actual news reporter in real life, like an actual news reporter, or newscaster or whatever. I think an actual cameraman. They go to a fire station. They're hanging out with firemen. They go to a building with a bunch of other people, and they get quarantined in this building, and some insane stuff starts happening, and it's incredible. So it's kind of ironic that this movie is about a quarantine, and we pretty much experienced the quarantine, which is actually pretty funny. Um, so one of the best things about this movie is that every single person in this movie was either unknown or true to their role. So Angela, who is the newscaster, is an actual newscaster. A lot of the citizens in this building are just unknown actors, unknown actresses, or whatever, which is again great casting, um, and just I mean, it's suspenseful. This is a very suspenseful movie, and also a pretty terrifying movie as well. I mean, this is a zombie movie, so people get infected. The makeup is incredible. Um, Everything about this movie, it's suspenseful, it's scary. The performances are all across the board fantastic. Everyone in this movie plays to their highest potential. I love it. I really, really, really love this movie. But I'm probably going to talk about this one for a while because this was definitively number one, and it will probably always be number one because I just love everything about this movie. Number one for me, my favorite horror movies of all time. My favorite horror movie of all time, and also probably, I think, probably top 10 movies of all time. If I'm pretty sure. Number one is The Shining. And I know people are going to come into the comments and be like, oh, it's overrated. Oh, it's so predictable. But who cares? Who cares? Who honestly cares? And you know what this is like? That's like you go to, let's say, a fight, right? Let's say you're going to a like, big fight, right? Like, once coronavirus is gone, you go to like a big boxing match, right? And you see this gigantic dude, right? Just this like 6'6" tall, muscular, strong guy, and he's facing a midget. Who are you gonna have your money on? Are you, if you're betting $1,000 on that fight? Who are you gonna bet on? Who are you gonna bet on? And it's a fist fight. Who are you gonna bet on? Who? Who? And the tall guy's undefeated. Who are you gonna who are you gonna you're gonna go for the little tiny man, or are you gonna go for the tall guy? You gotta go with the predictable one. Like, if you're going with the midget, you're really, really jumping the shark. And just like The Shining. So if I say anything but The Shining, it's not true to me. So if I said, I don't know what, if I say, if let's say I've said my number one horror movie of all time is like I Know What You Did Last Summer, or like Night Killer, which honestly it might be, or uh, Spy Kids 3. Like, if I said any of those movies, people might be like, oh, okay, that's a good pick, but I'm not true to myself. That's not what my number one would be. Number one will always be The Shining, and I mean that. Um, this movie is phenomenal in every single way. The performances across the board. Jack Nicholson gives one of the best performances, maybe for me, top five performances in any movie. I mean, he is so riveting, and I mean, his character is so layered. He does a fantastic. He's perfect. He's perfect. I don't care. He's perfect. Also, I know the behind the scenes stuff with Shelley and Stanley Kubrick, but it really just leads to a hysterical performance, really, or just like scared performance of Wendy. And obviously you can just go like, oh, the backstage stuff, oh, he's like, that's so unfair. And I'm not gonna even try and defend you. Yeah, that is a little effed up, but like, if it's for the art, which I'm pretty sure Stanley Kubrick, like, he's not doing it on purpose. There's no way. If he did it for the arts, then it paid off in the best way. It really worked. I think it really worked. Danny Lloyd, again, fantastic in this movie. One of the best child performances of all time. Scatman Crothers, insane in this movie. Um, it's incredible, and there's so many iconic moments. Here's Donnie is forever going to be edged in horror media or just cinematic history forever. Um, Jack stalking Wendy up the stairs might be my favorite scene from this movie because it's shot so well. The dialogue, the script is fantastic across the entire movie, but especially in this scene, Nicholson plays it perfectly. Just that scene is perfection. And it's really just showing what this hotel is doing to this family. Um, Also, the sky shot of the maze is insane. Blood coming out of the elevator is iconic. The twins is iconic. Just what is there not to love about this movie? I mean, everything has a meaning, and I'm not even going to try to dissect this movie now because people have been doing that for years. But if you have never seen this movie, please watch it. It is an experience unlike any others. This is one of the absolute best, and for my money, it's the number one. So that is it. What is your favorite horror movie? If you are a horror fan, what horror movies have you seen? If you're not a horror fan, thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you want me to do on the Hi I Exist podcast. Uh, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm not sure what the next video is going to be because I have a few ideas. The Victorious one is most likely going to be next, but I also have another video in mind that I might want to put out in a few days. But we will see. We will definitely see. And once again, happy Halloween to all of you. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, the story is always right. Adios, amigos. Chaka chaka da. Chaka chaka da. Chaka da. 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 Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. I'm not editing any of that out. That's not getting edited out.